What's up, guys? Casey Jones here. It's time for me to show you my 4-player modified Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet. Let's do this, punk! Here we go!
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching Arizona's Arcade Heroes. So this is my modified Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade1up cabinet. So when I first got this thing, it was pretty plain. As you guys know, it only has 2 games and it has 2 buttons for each character. But what I did was added the 4-player arcade modification kit that has the LED light up buttons. I also had to add extra buttons for player 1 and player 2 for PlayStation, so you'd have L1, L2, R1, R2. It's got the coin buttons underneath. And this thing has an updated sound system as well that is pretty awesome. So I actually took out the stock speakers behind the marquee and put in 2 high-end 4-inch speakers with, you can see the speaker grill covers right here. And it also has a 12-volt amplifier with a 12-inch subwoofer inside the cabinet. So guys, this thing is super loud. Let me give you an example of how loud this thing is. So probably the coolest part of this machine is the image that I put on the memory card inside the Raspberry Pi when I modified it. Guys, this thing has 20,000 games on it, everything from Atari all the way up until Dreamcast, and it even plays current gen games. So I'll put the link in the description for the image that I got off of Arcade Punks if you like it, but here's just a sneak peek at the collections part of the attract mode on this image. You can see it has tons of collections. It's got 70s, 80s, 90s. Here you've got 007. I'm gonna just go through some of these so you guys can see. Someone spent a lot of time putting all of these graphics and images together for each collection. I mean, it's got, I think, about 200 different categories for the collections. So I'm gonna go through some of these. You can see Batman. Every single one is just highly detailed. It's got video, it's got sound, it's got remixed music on there. And it's just an easy way to find the game that you want to play. Of course, you can search the games out individually, but this just breaks them down instead of by console, by category. So, you know, for example, all the Disney games are going to be inside this category. I'm going to go through some more here so you can get a better idea of how cool this image is. And I spent a lot of time researching the different images available, and this was by far the best one. I didn't see any other ones that were even close to this. You can see it's got, you know, Indiana Jones, Lego games. It's got all your Super Mario games in here as well. Just really, really nicely done when they built this image. I can't imagine how many months it took to put all this together, but it's all here in one collaboration for you to add to your Raspberry Pi. I'll go through some more here just to give you an idea. All your Pac-Man games. And keep in mind, this thing has every single arcade game on the main emulator. It has every console game from Atari all the way up until, I believe, Sega CD. And then I had to manually add some of the PlayStation and Sega CD games, which I'll show you, and Dreamcast as well, but I'm going to get into that. Here's all your Simpsons games. Just really nicely done. I mean, you actually have a lot of fun just going through the menus on this and looking at all the cool displays that it has. I'll keep going through. Here's your Sonic games. The Star Wars one is one of my favorites. All your Street Fighter games. The superhero one is awesome. I mean, you can just, for those of you that do video editing, you can imagine how much time went into doing several hundred of these categories for each one. pretty awesome, guys. So I highly recommend this image. There's your Ninja Turtles games, which now we have all of them with all the other games instead of just the 2 that came with the cabinet. But I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that this has on here as well, just to give you an idea of what to expect. Here's your Legend of Zelda games are all in here, but check out what else this has on it, guys. So the PlayStation games that come on the image, there's only about 3 or 4. So I found out right away. I have a tutorial on my page that you guys can check out on how to add more games to this, but you basically go to cdromance.com and you can download the e-boots for PSX games. And guys, I put a ton on here. This thing has about 200 PlayStation games, and I had to manually put the videos and the pictures on the wheel for the icon on the game, but well worth it, because as I showed you, I added the extra buttons onto the control deck. So you've got your L1, R1, L2, R2, as well as your normal buttons, and it's awesome. I mean, it's got just about every PlayStation game that you can think of. There were a couple that didn't work, but not very many. About 80 to 90% of the games work. So I'll go through some of these just so you guys can see tons of PlayStation games. And keep in mind, as I mentioned before, you can also put your PS4 or your Xbox One in the cabinet and hook up the HDMI to the Raspberry Pi, and you can run current gen games as well. So here's a look at the Dreamcast emulator, and this one again only had 2 or 3 games. So I was able to find a website that had the Dreamcast games, and you download those the same way as the PlayStation and you put them on here. Now with the Dreamcast games, it's only about maybe a quarter of the games that work, but there's a pretty huge library. So I actually found online a list of the games that were compatible. A lot of them are just choppy and they don't run, but there are tons that do work. So any of the ones that did work, I put them on here. So you can play all your Dreamcast games. It's got your Shenmue, your Sonic, your Sword of Berserk, tons of good games. So well worth the time and the energy to add these ROMs on here, guys. And this thing even has Sega CD. A lot of you guys may have played this. I remember having it. It's got the live action games with the actual video footage in the games, but still a lot of really good arcade games as well. You can see Corpse Killer, Demolition Man, Dragon's Lair is on here. Some of the live action ones, I think that was Corey Haim, classic 80s. Fahrenheit, the one with the firefighting. It's got your Lunar games. Mad Dog McCree is on here, part 1, part 2. So just great games on here, you guys. If you don't remember playing this thing, it's well worth going back and playing them again. This is one of those systems where it's like I probably only had 3 or 4 of the games because they were $50 a pop, but now you can just put them all on here and go in and check them all out. Slam City, the one where you play one-on-one with Scottie Pippen. Star Wars Rebel Assault. So just some great games, guys, and it's just a lot of fun to go back and revisit some of these classics. This also has the option to do favorites. So with 20,000 games, guys, all you have to do is you just go in and set your favorites key to a key on the keyboard, and then you go through the games and just hit, like I put F key as my favorite key. So if I have the keyboard hooked into the Pi, I just push F on every single game that's one of my favorites. And then you just go in through Emulation Station and generate your favorites list, and then they're all in a separate category right here. So I've got, several hundred games in my favorites list, so every now and then I might go in and pull some more, but plenty of stuff to keep me busy here, guys. And one of the coolest things about this system is it does have PSP games, so I added a few on here, but I actually, with this thing having this upgraded sound system, I actually added about 200 classic 80s and 90s music videos. So it just makes party night very cool, because you can go through and play old classic MTV VH1 music videos right on the Arcade1up deck itself, and it works like a jukebox. I mean, this thing is loud, guys. It's louder than my home stereo system with the subwoofer and the amp. So just a lot of fun to go through and play some of those classic videos and just watch through some of them. And people, when they come over, when we have a party, they just love it. So it's just a lot of fun. And you can add those on there. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to add the music videos. So please subscribe to the channel and you'll get more information on that if you don't know how to do that already. But it's got some DJ Marshmello on there, a couple newer songs, but just, all around fun music videos that people enjoy the songs. And want to see the videos again. Here's the Lost Boys. Everybody remembers that one with the vampires and Kiefer Sutherland. So very, very cool, guys. I mean, with the upgraded memory card, 256 gigs that I put on there, you've got well over 100 gigs of memory to add whatever you want to this cabinet and make it the ultimate home entertainment system. So, you know, just scrolling through some of these to let you guys see a little bit of what I did, but a lot of fun. So, Karate Kid 2, another classic. So we've enjoyed having this on Friday and Saturday night when we hang out and we put the music videos on and have a few beers or a glass of wine and just enjoy it. All right, guys, so let's wrap this up here. Okay, guys, so I saved the best for last here. I went ahead and added a couple of 6-foot LED strands to the cabinet just to make it pop. I mean, everyone's been into Dave & Buster's or the arcade and seen how the games have these LED lights on the trim. So I went ahead and added those. Just a great touch to the machine. And I put this light up LED Leonardo Katana on the top that just blocks the amplifier from the front just to give it that pop. I do that on my other cabinets as well. I put the Captain America shield on there on the Marvel cabinet. But guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted you to see what I had done. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions or if you're modding a machine and want to let me know what you're doing. I would love to hear from you. And please subscribe to the channel as we'll be having more tutorials and more mod videos coming up very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good one.